Real quick, we just finished, obviously, our first week of OTAs. Any questions?
How's the process going? Obviously, you have rookie minicamp now, getting the fits on the rookies. How
Yeah, there's always that transition. The first week, the rookies will come in, they'll lift separately. And then, that second week, there's that transition period where, they're in with the 91. But I thought overall the week went well. And we tried to, and this is important for everyone, we try to split up all the reps. So there's going to be a time where you read into the reps. I don't think it's early in OTAs.
Sean, it's probably been a while since you had a true, open quarterback competition. How do you approach, that it could be anybody's job to win?
Yeah, we had it in New Orleans after Drew left with
Andy.
It was with Teddy and Taysom. Look, we go by what we see. We try to get them as many reps as possible. We're rotating all of them right now. So Tuesday, Stiddy ran with the ones, and then Zach, and then Bo, and we'll keep doing that right now.
What are your impressions of Zach Wilson first time you've seen him on the field?
Good. It's kind of the orphan group. All of them they're all orphan dogs. They've come from somewhere, but they're doing good, and it's a good room.
Can you just kind of elaborate what you saw on Zach versus what you've seen on the film all these years?
Yeah, good question. I like his experience. You could tell he's played, and I feel like he's got very live arm strength. And he's picking up the offense pretty quickly.
What's your vision? We haven't talked to you yet since the schedule came out. Just your initial impressions on what you looked at through the first 4 on the road.
Yeah, over the years, schedule driven. Number one, we can't control it. So the first things I look for are weather. There's 2 weather possibilities at Tampa and then Cincinnati. I look at travel. There's a good chance after we play Tampa, we might practice somewhere else on the East Coast. We ask for that, when you have 4 Eastern time zone games. So after Tampa, we're sorting through where we might go before we then play the Jets. Those are the first things that came to mind. The second thing, obviously, the first quarter poll, 3 of the 4 on the road. The second quarter poll, 3 of the 4 at home. And ultimately, it is what it is. Hey, we go play them.
You were talking with Lucas Kroll at one point during practice, getting some coaching. What have you seen from him, and what's your vision?
Man, I thought he's had a good week. And I said, if you didn't notice, everyone in the media was looking down at the rosters to see who 85 was. And I said, someday soon they're going to know who 85 is. He's looking sharp.
With Greg, what's his offseason been like so far?
Greg
Dulcich so far, and
yeah,
where's he at right now?
He's close. Man, he's had all the work done. We're encouraged. I think you'll see him sooner than later, and we want to be smart.
Does he have some kind of off-season procedure or something?
Well, no. Look, there's been trips back and forth relative to checkups, but his rehab has gone well, and it's not going to be we don't see him till training camp.
What about the Cortland situation? Where are you at with that?
Yeah, there isn't any concern. Here's why. I know Cortland well. He's a tremendous worker. You guys know him. A tremendous makeup, leader of our team. That'll sort itself out.
What are your initial impressions of Josh Reynolds seeing him out here this week?
Yeah, it's good. He's long. He's got strong hands. Another veteran receiver. I like that group, and if you study it closely, it's big. Across the board, and then it's got speed. So, man, there's going to be heavy competition there. Heavy competition at running back. The same in the back end with the secondary. And I think there's that old saying, iron sharpens iron, and I feel like that's going to happen.
Going from rookie minicamp to now this with the veterans, how have you seen Bo pick up the offense and be around the rest of the team?
Good. I mean, he's farther along than most would be. I mean, we're talking about a player who's played 61 games. He's extremely smart. He's picked it up very quickly.
Tim Patrick, you had big plans for him last year. Obviously, he had the injury. Now him getting back in the mix. What does he look like for you out there, and how's he?
He's smart. He's tough, and I would say he's one of the leaders in that room.
You don't often, I guess, see playing a team in the preseason and then again in the regular season. How'd that come to be?
I think this, it's never bothered us, because when you look at Indy week 1, what's the purpose of preseason week 1? And I would say, man, it's to evaluate your roster. It's to find the right players. It's not scheme driven. It'd be different if it was Indy, and then we opened in Indy week 2. So this has been the 5th or 6th time it's happened to me. We've had joint practices with teams that we played in the regular season. So I don't think it's an issue.
Do you think, is that the joint practice with Green Bay, is that the only one of those you'll do during the season?
Currently scheduled, yes. And that'll be here. And I think that'll be open to the public.
Are you going to, is Eastern Illinois trip this weekend for you and Mike?
No, next weekend, Eastern Illinois asked Mike Shanahan, who played there in the 70s, myself, who played there in the 80s, Tony Romo, who played in the 90s, and Jimmy Garoppolo in the 2000s. They're trying to organize kind of a kickoff fundraiser weekend, and the 4 of us are all on board. So it's 2 weeks away.
With your 3 quarterbacks, obviously they're all starting from a little bit of a different spot. So are you looking for, like when you look for progress with them, are you looking for the same things out of each of them, or does progress look different for each of those guys?
Yeah, good question. They come from different systems. One's coming from college, one's coming from 2 or 3 NFL systems, and the other's coming from one system. They're all in a race to learn this system, and I would say you guys watch the practice. Man, they're doing well.
So, Peyton Manning was saying some interesting stuff last night about whether to play rookie quarterbacks, and he talked about those different schools. Mahomes had his first year. Manning, even though he threw 28 interceptions and went 3-13, he said that was invaluable. He said Eli Manning got way more out of the 6 games he played as a rookie than the 10 he did. What's your philosophy on playing rookie quarterbacks?
Well, I think some of it is a byproduct of what you have in the building. If you have a starter in the building, then that's the path you go. And then sometimes you don't have that luxury, and then that's the path you go. A lot of it's dependent on the quarterback, his mental makeup. So I think it just varies. When you look at Love, that went to Green Bay behind, and then Rodgers, who went to Green Bay behind, there's a little bit of a luxury there. But it's really dependent on the roster.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, man.
Hey,
Yeah.
On Sanders, can you just give his?
Yeah, look, that happened early in the offseason program. A simple, like they all happen, kind of a jump. Surgery was done. We'll have a prognosis. Fortunately, it was early enough timeline. We'll bring him back. I don't want to say October, but the good news is, the surgery was done. It was clean. There wasn't anything complex about the injury, and it was just something unusual.
Did they tweak that rule with you can put a guy in injured reserve before the roster set, right, and then bring a couple of them back now over the course of the year? I know it's a long way off, but that is added roster flexibility.
Yeah, I believe so. All right, thank you guys.